So hey guys, it's Zeal again, and this is some very, very old gameplay. I'm scratching the bottom of the barrel with this one, but it's topical. This is the kind of game, a Valve game that is to say, that I really want to talk about, and the topic is not just about Valve games in general and how I think they're some of the best on the planet, but how Valve, instead of making a game for one particular community, like, say, the casual community or the competitive community, they make games with both in mind at the exact same time. If you look at a Call of Duty game, and you look at its competitive side, you'll see that there's a very small selection of things that competitive players use. The maps are a small number, the weapons are a small number, which I'll get to about Counter-Strike in a second, and they have to delete a lot of things from the game in order to make it competitive. Pro Mod is the best example of this. Call of Duty 4 does not work for the highest level of competitive play, so the Pro Mod guys had to literally change the game code in order to make it competitive. And then you look at a game like Counter-Strike, even going back to 1.6, but I know Source and I know Go even better. And then you look at a game like Team Fortress 2, both of these games out of the box were perfect, absolutely perfect for casual and competitive play. And if you look at a Team Fortress 2 game that's on the competitive level, you'll see that a lot of the stuff that the players are using is stock. It's the stuff that came with the game. If you see a person off-classing as spy, then he's going to be using the invisibility watch, the knife, and the revolver, maybe the ambassador if he's feeling saucy. If you see someone playing heavy, base minigun, soldier, the only thing they really change is the equalizer or escape plan, just so they can get out of areas faster. And with the recent quote-unquote success of Black Ops 2 as a competitive game, especially if you look at the streams for competitive and league play has really taken off, which, on the one hand, I like that competitive play is being emphasized. But again, in Black Ops 2, they had to get rid of a lot of things. They didn't get rid of kill streaks, which always confused me. But they had to, it was a very small selection of weapons, very small selection of maps that were out of the box, ready for competitive play. Now for Team Fortress 2, you could say that they could balance the game because they didn't really put any maps in the game, and of course you can make that claim. But I think that it's almost easier to balance for gameplay and weapon handling and all that than it is to balance for a map. And Valve maps always had this very interesting design idea that let's not make it for every single game mode. We have modders who can do that for us. We have people who will go into the code that we provide them and they will make it into a capture point map. They'll take payload and make it into capture point. They'll take capture point, make it into payload. I've seen Dust Bowl payload. I know it exists, so there is a market for such a thing. But Valve has always balanced their game mode to the map because the map is a single game mode. And Call of Duty has always almost been catered to the casual player. So they have to balance for every game mode. Every map has to work for every single game mode. Every game mode has to work for all the weapons that are on offer. And you run into this design bloat where you're going around hoping that one or more of these maps is good for competitive play. And then when it is, it goes to the competitive streak. But even a game as simplistic as Call of Duty 4 was in comparison to the current Call of Duties, it still had so much that had to be changed, taken out, added, modified. So many things that didn't work, competitively speaking, on the PC. And it makes me really sad, because we've seen that it's possible. And I know that not every development company is Valve. I know, at least Valve as it was in 2007, when Team Fortress 2 was being developed, in the 9 years that it was being developed. But I wish that more developers would say, okay, let's try and make this game competitive and casual right out of the box. You can open up the game and you can jump into esports right away. I mean, League of Legends did that ingeniously, and I can't talk about competitive gaming without talking about League of Legends. They did it ingeniously. Everything you need for competitive gaming is in the box, is in the download. Everything is there. Because if you look at it, League of Legends and Riot Games, they took Valve's design mentality. There is one game mode that we have to balance for, and there are, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 weapons we have to account for. Counter-Strike has so few weapons on offer. The games and the maps and the weapons all work because it's all tuned around one focus point. not 15, not 20.